Okay, Gary Abbott, National Hall of Fame inductee, Merit of Honor. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mike. It's kind of weird.
I was about to ask. First question.
Experience.
You're on the other side of the camera. That's kind of rare. Usually
Well,
you're
occasionally
over here.
you have to do an interview with some media, but you don't usually try to intentionally get in front of the camera. So it's not something I'm used to as much as some people are. I'm the one that makes them get in front of the camera. I'm not the one that gets in front of the camera. So.
So how long have you been covering the inductions at this event?
Well, Myron Roderick invited me down early in my career, and I can't remember the first induction ceremonies that I was at, but it's been over 2 decades. And he'd invite me down. I'd call all the local press and get press releases out around the country and just write it up and make a big deal out of the athletes that are getting inducted and all the different people that were being honored. And it was fun. It was. I became part of the Hall of Fame weekend just because I was helping. And Leroy Smith continued that. He invited me down after Myron was no longer executive director. So, I've missed very few in the last couple decades. A couple of times I came down for Doc Bennett getting the Order of Merit, so Richard Immel did the work, so I just came as one of the people helping out to support him. But I've been able to be part of this for a long time.
So this is the first one though where you're fully involved in the festivities and the fun of it.
I mean, the one year when Dave Bennett went in, I didn't do any work around it. Hi, Lisa. That's our friend Lisa Smith.
I'm trying to get a hug.
Lisa and I worked this Olympic Games in Atlanta together, so that was a highlight time. So, I've been here. This has been a work assignment, but it's also been a passion. I love this place. It keeps getting better.
So it looks a little different than the first time you walked in here?
Oh, yeah. Well, the first time I walked in here, it was my office. So USA Wrestling was in Stillwater, Oklahoma until June of 1988, and I got hired May 1988. So my first month working for USA Wrestling was somewhere over there. They've knocked down all the walls and redone it, but I worked here for a month, and then we all moved up to Stillwater to Colorado Springs. So that's been our work home. But this, in addition to being here for the hall, this was my office with USA Wrestling, which is kind of cool.
So 30 plus years in the sport, you've covered pretty much everything, and not just covering the event, but you've made the news. What does it mean to you to have been the person that delivered what's happening in the wrestling world to everybody else?
You become kind of you want to be part of important big things. No, it's not you doing it. You're just telling people about it. But when the first person off the mat at the Olympics, when they win, is you, because you're helping them go to the media after they win the gold medal, that's kind of fun. It's a great experience. You get to share a little small piece of what these great athletes go through, and I can think of a few times, Kendall Cross coming off the mat in Atlanta, other guys that won the gold medal and women that won, and being part of that. It's just an honor, right? To be there, to be able to share their great moments, and make sure other people know what happened, right?
Have there ever been times where you kind of get caught up in the moment yourself and you almost forget that you're covering it from a media lens?
No, I mean, part of being able to do the job is, knowing that you have to step back, right? Obviously, when you're at a World or Olympic event, you want the Americans to win, so you share in their joy, but you're still reporting it. You're still, we're publicists, so we're going to tell all the good stories, but you still have to tell people what happened. So it would be difficult to do this job if you really went up and down as much as the athletes and coaches did. You have to be back a little bit, at least, to be able to tell the story a little bit. But I wrestled, so it's easy to tell wrestling stories.
So I've got to ask, what is your most memorable experience? But because we're USA Wrestling and we give equal coverage to the styles, I want your most memorable Greco experience, women's freestyle experience, and men's freestyle experience.
Yeah, well, Greco, I have to think of my first medal watching Dennis Kozlowski win a medal at the Olympic Games. In freestyle, my first Olympics when John Smith and Kenny Monday won, and it was in Seoul, and they raised the American flag, and I got to hear the national anthem at the Olympics for the first time. And women's was easily Helen Maroulis becoming our first Olympic champ, although I was as equally moved when we got emerging sports status for the NCAA for women. So, but those stand out. But every time we have a great performance and some athlete achieves great things in wrestling representing our country, it gets to you. You enjoy it, you know.
One of the things that you're noted for specifically is the promotion of women's wrestling and you know, really getting behind that movement early on. And now it's very popular. There's a lot of people on board with it, but it wasn't always that way. Can you kind of talk about how it was when you started and how it's progressed?
Well, yeah, it was new, but what was really cool about the early days of women's wrestling is that they were great people. They were wrestlers, right? But these young women were leaders, and they were very much willing to just fight for the opportunity, but they did it in a real positive way. And people got to know them as humans and as wrestlers. And then they figured out, well, this is okay. I like these people. Let's give women's wrestling a chance. So the early leaders, the athletes that competed and represented the United States, really helped set the stage for the rest of them. It took a long time, but it makes sense, right? Wrestling is available to anybody and everyone, and that included women. So we were able to build some great opportunity, and it's only going to get better. Right.
So one of the pictures you took was with some of your former employees, some protege types. You know, you've got Jason Bryant, who runs the Mat Talk online and has his fingers in just about all of the wrestling media. You got Richard Immel over at Flow Wrestling. How does it feel to know that you were kind of the mentor to these people and the people that are going to continue to carry the sport and continue telling the stories in the sport?
Well, it's great, and I'm proud to have worked with every one of the people that have been part of our communications department. But I had mentors that helped me, so if I helped anyone get a better spot in their life and in their career, then I feel really good about it. So it's again, this is not normal for me, so I'm doing my best. So, but yeah, if I can help somebody and it's made a difference for them, then I feel real proud about that.
All right, my last question for you, Gary. You've given a lot to the sport. You've dedicated your life to covering it. What has wrestling given back to you?
Well, it gave me a chance to have a passion and try to do the best I could in my life, you know. And I loved wrestling. I really have enjoyed not being a wrestler, but being part of wrestling. And you grow and you learn and you live, and you're a better person because of the sport. So I thank wrestling from the bottom of my heart for having a spot for me.
Congratulations, Gary. Well
Thank
deserved.
you, man. Appreciate it.